Now I will talk about industrial print. Textile printing can be made with a lot of colors printed on top of each other or side by side of each other. Each color is applied locally. Basically, the same color stuff is used for printing as when dyeing the fabric, but thickening is added as the dye colors are too liquid and would bleed out on the fabric. The print colors are called print paste. Some pastes are transparent and some totally cover. In block screen and roll print, the higher number of colors, the more expensive is the print. Every single screen, roll or block have its development cost. Of course, its setting of the machinery, adjusting of the pattern and color mixing have its cost on top of the actual production time. Also in digital print, the more covered the surface is, the more color is needed, but it doesn't affect the development cost. Sometimes different color tones have different costs. Normally the weave or knit is prepared for print by washing and bleaching, and if it has a background color, also dyeing. A fabric that haven't been prepared to dye or prepared to print might not get affinity. So if you're going to print or dye a fabric yourself, you need to pre-wash the textile. Most kinds of dyes and prints also need to be fixed by heat or chemically to be resistant and not bleed or stain. Most common is the use of a vapor chamber, where the heat makes the dye enter in the fiber and create so-called affinity to the fiber. This way the color becomes wash resistant. For pigment paste, acrylates binds the color to the fiber. Different fibers react with its own special color group. Therefore, there are alkali, neutral and acid print pastes. The printed design is coming back as pattern repeats at fixed distance in height and width. Most print factories have standard repeat sizes. For clothing, it's normally 64 by 64 cm, which is made to fit on a back or a front of a shirt. But it's important to know the exact print repeat size that the actual factory worked with before creating the reported design. In full-width digital printing, there are no repeat pattern limits. The limit might be the size of the digital file and the width of the fabric. There are different ways to print. Direct print, which is probably the printing method most of us are thinking about when talking about print. This technique is mainly made on white or light color fabrics. Most common is the printing with pigment color, which is used for about half of the prints worldwide. Discharge print is mainly made on dark dyed fabrics with a dye that gets removed by the strong alkali chemicals in the printed discharge paste. The print is made using roller or screen techniques. Dyes that aren't harmed by the discharge chemicals can be added in the discharge paste. This way the new color gets added in the discharge areas. When the fabric is steamed, the pattern appears as either a white or a colored area. Using the discharge technique, the fabric color penetrates well on the reverse. The discharge paste may not totally penetrate on the reverse, leaving background color around the edges of the motif. Inconvenient with this technique is that the strong alkalis might harm the fibers. Duplex print is when you print on both sides of the fabric, or contemporary, or face and reverse in different operations. Warp printing is when the warp is printed before weaving the fabric. This is not commonly used as it's an expensive way of printing. DTG printing is a shortening of direct to garment printing. With the modern machines, you can print on both t-shirt, shoes and caps with the same printer. The pattern is positioned with help of a software. Photographic prints can be made. There are also embroidery machines that inkjet prints the embroidery thread just before the stitches on the fabric.